Well, here we are. I'm Tom Osman, and this is Whatever Comes Next. It's the podcast where I explore the world of underground and independent music making. And on today's episode, I am joined by Nikos Vlachakis of Greek funeral doom band Föhn. That's F-O with umlauts, H-N. And the band has fairly recently released their first album, Condescending, which is both sonically and emotionally heavy. And in this interview with Nikos, we discuss why and some of the themes and topics of the album. I'm going to play the final track of the album, Persona, at the end of the episode, and a little clip before the interview, and you will hear part of the spoken word recording that features in the track, and that will give you quite a strong idea of some of the themes and dark topics of the album. As mentioned in the interview with Nikos, I have a copy of the album on cassette. And if you're watching this on video, you can see, here it is. It's very beautifully constructed. Let's see if I can actually open this up with one hand. It is a white cassette. And there's also a double vinyl version of the album, which comes on white vinyl as well. Very striking. And fitting with the very striking artwork for the album. There's a little bit of a story behind this interview. So originally I interviewed Georgios. I am not confident enough to pronounce his Greek last name. Basically the founder of the band and the main songwriter. But unfortunately, this was one of the interviews that I lost in the great laptop catastrophe of 2024, alongside my original interview with Django Haskins of The Old Ceremony. Happily, I managed to talk to Django again for that second episode, whatever number that is, number 30-something, 40-something. And it wasn't possible to talk to Georgios a second time because he was busy somewhere else in his other work. But I was very happy to be able to talk to Nikos and partially right the wrong of having lost the original interview, because I did really want to put this out there. I think it's a really great album. And as many people as possible should hear it and see what it's all about. So the band has their own website, which is foehngr.com. You can find links to their social media there. You can also check out the album on Bandcamp, where they are just F-O... Oh, are they F-O-E-H-N there as well? You live and learn. So the power of diacritics. So no, they are not. On Bandcamp, they are F-O-H-N. And you don't need to type in the umlauts, but you will see there is another band called Föhn without umlauts that play ambient music, and there's a picture of someone sitting on a hill. That is not the Föhn that we are talking about here. You will see it says they are from Athens, Greece, which they are, and you will see a black and white photo of the band members. Anyway, I think there is not too much more to be said. The band does not have plans at the moment for playing live. But the album's out. Check it out. Bandcamp. Buy a copy if you feel so inclined. You can also check it out on Spotify if that is the place where you like to listen to music. And with that, if I have forgotten anything, I will write it in the description. And there is nothing left for me to say, but Nikos Vlachakis of Föhn, take it away.
Because they sweet talk, like that's what the whole Romeo pimp's about. They'll sweet talk you. They'll make you think that like you're doing it because you love them. Like if you love them, you'll do that. Some guys are like, oh, if you love me, you'll have sex with me. No, this one's like, if you love me, you'll go sell your body for me. And then they take all your money. They're supposed to take care of you, but it's all a form of control.
What's the t-shirt that you've got on?
Yeah, that's a Föhn t-shirt.
Ah, very nice. I thought it might be. Ah, yes, I recognize the figure underneath.
Yeah, yeah, you can see that it's the cover.
Yes.
We have it online for sale, but we have to wait for the vinyl. If you saw the announcement of the company before.
I didn't see that, but I mean, I know that vinyl delays has kind of been an ongoing topic in the past years. So what's the story here?
I don't know, something with the factory, I think. I haven't watched this. I saw an announcement later today that said that we have to wait a little more about the vinyl. So it's not it's not on us. So we have to wait. We can't do anything.
Yeah. Well, what I should say before anything else. So I will do an introduction separately, but yeah. So I did an interview with Georgios. In fact, you've got two Georgioses, right? There's Georgios you, and there's also Georgios who's bass player as well.
Yeah, we have Georgios Schoinianakis, the main composer of the group, and the bass player Georgios Miliaras, who entered the group while we were recording the album. But he was a really good friend of us.
Right. So yeah, and I wanted you to say the last names because you will say them better than me. I will say your Greek names incorrectly. So, but yeah, so originally I did an interview with Georgios. Unfortunately, my laptop then exploded, and I lost the interview forever. So I am grateful to you for helping me to partly correct this disaster on my side, because I'm a big fan of the record Condescending. And so together you are Föhn. The album is now out on now it's Hyperthrall Records in North America and These Hands Melt in Europe.
To the rest of you in Europe, yeah. First of all, we want to thank you about your good words, and we appreciate that. We really appreciate that because we always said that even just one person that is being interested in something we are going to release, this is enough for us. It's really priceless, and thank you very much.
Well, it's very much my pleasure. Yeah, I really enjoy discovering music that is powerful in lots of different ways. Like different genres, whatever the style of music is. And I found the album to be extremely powerful. It's this kind of slow, emotionally crushing, sonically crushing, maybe we can call it funeral doom. It's quite harrowing, like quite upsetting in some of the kind of themes and the topics. But it does make me want to listen to it again and again. So yeah, I was listening to it just before the interview and I was thinking, yeah, I still really love this album.
Yeah, that's the point. I think that's the point, not to listen one time and then don't want to get back to it. I think that's the point. And we're really happy that we have seen that many people done that and they had this effect to their lives.
It's a very powerful record. So maybe you can tell me, what's the story with you and the band and the background? How did you become involved in this project?
Well, Georgios, the one, Schoinianakis, it's my best friend. I have to say that. We are connected with a sincere friendship that lasts over 20 years, I think. I know him from, I think the story begins in 2003 when I followed my brother to a rehearsal of Southern Hope, if you know the band.
Yeah, because you've been in that band since 2005. Is that right?
Yeah, right. And four, I think. I'm in Sorry Hope, yeah, 2004. I just went to see the rehearsal there, and I met George and the other guys. And to be honest, uh, I I didn't like George from the start because I thought we were different personalities. But as I was changing as a person, I think we really got connected, and we had a really great time together. And I think he's my best friend, and I really feel this. So, to get back to your question, I met George from Star Hope. We were in the band until 2015, when George decided to stop playing with Star Hope due to personal reasons. He couldn't find time with his job because he had to travel all over the world, and that was really difficult. So, after some months of his departure, he came back and told me that he had some new ideas, new songs, some new riffs. And he showed me that, and I was really amazed. And I thought that we had to work with them. So we began to practice together, just playing with some guitars, not electric even, it was some acoustic guitar.
Interesting.
Play some riffs. And that was only for ourselves. We thought that we had to reconnect our souls together. We didn't think that this music would get out to the world. It was just for us, okay?
Yeah.
But as we were playing together all the time, week by week, we realized that these songs were getting better and better. So we said, why not? So it reached 2022, after 6 years, I think, that we first made our first attempt to write something. But we decided to record a demo a day after it was a song. I don't know if you have heard the demo version of that song.
No, I haven't heard any demo versions. How different are they from the final versions?
Okay. You can find it on our Bandcamp. Or in some YouTube uploads. So that demo had a great approach to the people. So then gave us the strength to carry on, to make all the songs out, and decided to record them in a new record that came to you in July.
So I'm fascinated when you said that you started playing these songs on acoustic guitar. Because, like when I hear, not necessarily metal, but like, music that's very, very sonically overpowering, I do sometimes wonder, like, if someone was just sitting at home with an acoustic guitar, how would they kind of like imagine the songs? So how did they go from that kind of acoustic beginning to having the sort of size and the scope? Did you always sort of have in mind, or like when did you start to think how you wanted everything to sound sonically?
Yeah, George and I were in this kind of doom metal since the beginning of our journey. So we kind of imagine the notes we play in that power and this depth when we try to just play them. So I think that even in a piano, even some other acoustic element, the imagination of the part of any song we played was just like that. We had this in our mind all the time. So we put them together, and in the studio with all the means we had, made that result.
And so for people that don't know the record, you have these 4 tracks, these extended pieces, which are all like between 12 minutes to 18 minutes long.
Yeah.
What was your part in like the songwriting process for that, whether it was the lyrics or whether it was the music, and getting them into their final form?
Okay, most of the music is created by Georgios. I have written all the lyrics of Condescending. And I think that I have written only one riff throughout this album. I think it's in A Day After. Or also, sorry, the Weight of Nothing. It's a middle riff, if you remember the song.
I don't specifically remember off the top of my head, but when I go back and listen, I'll be listening out for the riff in the middle.
I think it's the riff before the outro.
Okay.
Yeah, before the final acoustic part.
So another thing I'm curious about, I don't remember if I asked Georgios about this, but to have such a long time, I mean, I know, there are other bands that have like, it takes them 10 years to make a record or 20 years to make a record, but you had 6 years in this process. I would imagine that, like, I don't know, it's just like that, I can imagine there might have been some sort of like anxiety or tension of like, all this time is passing. Are we ever going to actually release this? Like, did you feel at all like the process was delayed, like because of COVID or anything else, or this was just because of having other things to do that it just took you this time?
Well, at the start of this journey, I'm calling it, we were really calm about that. We said, okay, we will take our time. We don't care about a recording. We don't care about anything. So we were okay with that. Time was passing, and we were trying to evolve all the songs. But I think it was after the pandemic that both us say to ourselves, what are we doing now? We have to record something. I don't know how we got here. So yeah, anxiety took its part there in that time. So that led us to record the demo I told you before. I think it was driven by anxiety.
Yeah. COVID had an impact on all of us in one way or another.
Yeah, that's right.
And so when you did the demo, did you have Georgios, the bass player? Was he in the band at that point?
Oh, no. Georgios, the band player, joined us through the recordings of Condescending in the studio. We had given him the music, the riffs, and he joined us there. And then we said, when we listened to his playing, we said, yeah, he must be with us. That's the guy.
And what was it like for you when you actually heard the finished version of everything all together in the final form?
I remember that Georgios sent me the final forms, and I was It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I was working. I had a late night shift, and I remember burning in tears because just like that, and a shiver came all over my body. I can't describe this. I told Georgios that I was crying like a baby while I was listening to it. Yeah, it was a great moment.
And like I mentioned at the beginning when I was talking about the album, even like, on the outside, for me as a listener, it is very intense. I can't hear the lyrics when I'm listening to it, but obviously there's the sample, the spoken word part in Persona, which gives me some idea about the themes. There's the artwork, I've sort of pieced things together. But maybe as you are the lyricist, you can tell me about like sort of the meanings within the album from the lyrical point of view and from, talking about what you wanted the album to be about with Georgios over the years.
Yeah, we were, as you know, I don't know if you are into doom, funeral doom metal. You know what the lyrical themes are about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert,
They're
but
often,
I know some funeral doom.
yeah, they often talk about the sadness, death, all this stuff that grief. Okay, this is all those things are inside condescending, but we wanted to be something different. That we wanted to be that voice of all the oppressed people, and somehow that they too can be heard through our music, something like that. We wanted all this to be heard, and you can see that through the titles. If you can read the lyrics, you can realize all this. And as you said, from that spoken part in Persona, you take all this meaning immediately.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some people told that, and that I think that I saw that they were commenting like that it was too long to be put in the song, but I don't know. We thought it was really perfect for this.
I agree. I think it
Great.
is perfect. I think it's incredibly powerful. And I love the way that that track starts with the spoken word and it's like it starts to get incorporated into the music. I think it's done really, really well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was George's idea, and I was completely agreed with that.
Yeah, it adds a
So
different dimension.
yeah,
Something else that I really love on the record, I don't remember if I asked Georgios about this, the saxophone. I love saxophone in metal. I don't remember who plays that. What's the story behind the saxophone on the album?
yeah. First of all, those parts were written with guitar, okay, but uh, George was thought that all these melodies would be lifted high if we used an unusual element. So we decided to have a saxophone in our recordings, and especially two saxophones were and condescending in two different songs. One's Bereft and Persona. The first part is from Victor Karamanis, that played that he played the tenor saxophone Bereft and Persona, and then Dimitris Padelias played soprano sax in Bereft in the start of the song. Those creepy melodies in the start of the album. So I think that saxophone completely gave us the dimension we wanted to express ourselves like that.
Yeah. And I think also like saxophone is a very emotive instrument. Obviously, people use it in different ways, but it can be very soulful, I think. So it does fit that kind of mournful element of the album.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite instruments with the violin, I think. If I wasn't saxophone, it would be violin for me. I don't know for Georgios, but for me, it would be violin.
Yeah, I could totally imagine that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about meeting Georgios when you went to go see Shattered Hope. Did you say when you were seeing them rehearse? Was that or to see them perform?
Yeah, that was one of their first rehearsals. They hadn't recorded anything. They were just rehearsing, just to play some gig. I don't know. I don't remember.
So
and they had
yeah.
Sorry, and my brother had been in the group, had joined recently back then, and I went just to see them.
Okay. So I don't know if that was like your introduction to being in bands, but can you tell me sort of like your origin story as far as playing and recording and performing in bands goes? How did you get into music?
Yeah, I think that started again with my brother, because he's a sound engineer and a multi-instrumentalist. So he helped me with that. We had some recordings back in time, just for our pleasure. And when Shattered Hope wanted a vocalist, he gave them one of our recordings, and they said that I can join them. So that's the beginning of my story with music.
And did you have like ambitions to be a singer before that?
I think that was just only my imagination, something like we all dream about sometimes when we are kids or teenagers.
And so, you've had 20 years of being in bands, and you also have another band now, right? Ocean of Grief?
Oh, yeah. I'm really new in this band. I haven't recorded anything, but I think we are going to make a recording in 1 month by now, I think.
And are you based in Athens? Are all of these bands in Athens?
Yeah, only in Athens. But I have made some collaborations with some bands from abroad, just send them some recordings and put them in the song.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you like think about the influence of your environment to the stuff that you write and what you play, but how much of an impact do you think Athens has to what you do creatively?
Well, I have seen something in one movie, I think, that was telling that the architects are responsible for the depression of the people around them. So I think all this urban style of life has a really big impact to my writing and the music. And the music I have chosen to be expressed. So I think, yeah, Athens has made it to me with music. I don't know how you see that.
I haven't been to Athens before, so like I don't kind of have a sense of the place itself, but I kind of imagine there's a lot of history, but also like a lot of ruins as well. So I kind of imagine that might have a particular kind of influence. Like it's very different, but I lived in Berlin for a while.
Oh, great.
And there's like a lot of atmosphere and obviously a lot of history there as well. So I think you can absorb a lot from that. So I imagined that, you know, in its own way, Athens could probably have a very unique kind of impact on people living there that are sort of creatively
I think
open.
Berlin and Athens have a really similar way of life. I think like that. I see that when I came to Berlin 10 years ago, I think I didn't see many difference.
Oh, interesting. And thinking about the writing, so do you have like a kind of a regular writing practice? Do you write every day, like some kind of creative writing or journal writing?
So I don't think I have the time to do that day by day, but I try to be a little consistent with that. I mean that I don't lose connection with writing, and I try to read more.
Mm.
So this helps me with my writing and find new subjects to get involved with. So I do this instead of writing every day, because I don't know if I have the time to do that.
So as we sort of touched on at the beginning, and as I gathered when I spoke to Georgios, he's got a lot happening with his job. So it sounds like you are also very, very busy with work. So tell me about your life outside of the creative side of things. What do you do for a living?
Okay, I'm working in archaeological site here in Athens. If you know, it's called Ancient Agora.
No,
And,
but I will look it up
you know
afterwards.
that? Yeah, okay, it's in the center of Athens. I'm responsible for people's safety and the monument safety also. I work in shift, so it's always, I don't have a specific time to work because it's other time in day or other day in night. So I don't have an exact schedule with my work. So this is the most tiring of all. But it's okay, I think. And besides this, I'm working as a journalist, sports journalist.
A sports journalist? Interesting.
Yeah, I do it freelance from home.
Yeah.
So, okay, it fills my day a lot, I think.
What kind of sport?
It's mostly soccer and basketball.
Ah. Is that like
I don't know if you're
totally from interest or just because those are the things that get you the most work?
I prefer tennis, but I think most of all the work is with the soccer and basketball.
Yeah. I used to follow
I
the
saw
football,
that.
but not really anymore.
Oh, okay. What was your favorite team?
Aberdeen.
Oh, Scotland.
Yeah. Well, we can pretend that I'm wearing red for Aberdeen.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know much about this team, but I know it's a historic team of Scotland.
Yeah, there's a bit
And
of
now it's going great. I think it's first.
Yeah, well, joint with Celtic, but Celtic have much better goal difference. But
Yeah.
we're ahead of Rangers. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, the most important. Okay, that's great.
But yeah, there's a bit of a joke about Aberdeen. Like other supporters of different teams say that whenever you talk to an Aberdeen fan, you always get a history lesson because it's always like, yeah, we did this in 1982.
Yeah, before 40 years ago. Yeah,
exactly.
The same goes for Panathinaikos now here in Athens, in Greece in general, because he has to win a championship over, I don't remember, from 2010, I think.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm a fan of Panathinaikos.
My knowledge of football is all very old now anyway. So it's like if I'm in a taxi and the taxi driver wants to talk about football, I have enough knowledge from the past that I can get by, but I don't know anything about what's happening now.
Yeah, I see that.
So, thinking about the album Condescending, so it's out now. I understand from Georgios that, well, at least he told me, I think at the time, you didn't have any plans to play the music live. So, from your point of view, like, what's the next step or the next steps with the band?
Well, our first thoughts were not to play live with the Föhn, okay, but we never know that. Never say never about that. Okay, we have to find some members to do this, to perform the album live. So I think it's a little difficult for this time, but we don't know what will happen in the future about that. In our next plans, I think that is the main thing is that we have to write new songs and write the sophomore of Condescending. That's the main plan, I suppose. But we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
George became a father, and he has, recently.
Well, pass on my congratulations.
Yeah. And now it spends his time with the family most of the time. So when we meet again, we would talk about our next steps. I think it would be with the writing of new songs because we don't have anything yet.
Yeah.
That's some risks, I suppose, we have, and we have to work on them.
And so, in terms of what's available now, so like I said at the beginning, I've got the album on cassette. I got it from Bandcamp. Like thinking about, waiting for the vinyl to become available, is Bandcamp the best place for people to go? I don't remember if Föhn actually has. Do you have your own website? I can't remember.
Yeah, we have the website. I think I can tell you it's the Föhn, FOEHNDR.com.
Ah, yes. I remember.
Yeah. You can, anyone who wants can order the new album from there, and all the merch we have, it's there also.
Yeah, it's very striking. Oh, I see the t-shirt as well. So yeah, there's the vinyl. Is that going to be white?
Vinyl.
White vinyl when it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
double
cool.
White vinyl.
Ah, double white vinyl. So one song on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. No, it looks great. Like I love the artwork. I just think the presentation is all really beautiful, and it just, it's like very simple but powerful, and it really lets you just have this sort of doorway into the music, which is also very powerful. So the whole thing altogether, I think, is really well done.
Yeah, we're fans of more, less is more. So the minimalistic aesthetic is great for us. And we wanted to thank Christina Hanyotu, the photographer by whom we had those wonderful pictures, and agreed to have them for the artwork. They're really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, Nikos, thank you very much. It was great to talk with you. And like I say, I'm a big fan of the music, and I think as many people as possible should hear it. And if they like it, they should definitely buy it. And a t-shirt as well, because now I wish I had a t-shirt.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Likewise.
Bye.
All the best.
because they sweet talk. Like, that's what the whole Romeo pimp's about. They'll sweet talk you. They'll make you think that, like, you're doing it because you love them. Like, if you love them, you'll do that. Some guys are like, oh, if you love me, you'll have sex with me. No, this one's like, if you love me, you'll go sell your body for me. And then they take all your money. They're supposed to take care of you. But it's all a form of control. When I first started working, I would have breakdowns. In the middle of a session, I couldn't do it. Till finally, I kind of just separated me and who I am when I'm working. Otherwise, I would go crazy. I would lose it. You numb your mind. The thing about heroin is, at a certain point, you do what it takes to get out. You need it. They get you where you're dependent on them for it. So you need them to survive, basically. I remember one time I was just outside smoking a cigarette and someone asked me for a lighter. He had somebody watching me. I got beat for that later, and it was just because someone asked me to use my lighter. Because I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. When we went out, I had to tell him my order to tell the waiter. I couldn't look at anybody. I had to look at him or the ground. And if you messed up in public, then you were gonna get beat as soon as you got watched. And he'd make turn up me. He'd turn up the TV and turn the show. And then you cry or scream or anything. Then he'd take you out of there. And you never knew if death was gonna be your option. Never. It's an epidemic. It's an underground epidemic that nobody has any idea about. Because when they see an escorted prostitute, all they think is a drug-addicted whore that lives on the street. They don't think about the story behind it. They don't think about, is she being forced to do this? Does she have to do this? Is she getting beat if she doesn't do this? If I could play a magic wand to solve this problem, it would just to have all the people that used to turn their heads away from the girls that are on the street corner or on the websites. It's for them to reach out to look, to open their eyes to see us, instead of turning the other way. It's for them to reach out, to look, to open their eyes to see us, instead of turning the other way.